Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph, it's Collins, and we are live from the virtual Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the INDYCAR Open Series. Jacob Collins, we have a stout field here tonight, and they are ready to do battle for a two-thirds distance race here at Mid-Ohio. How about it?
Well, I think isn't this one now like a little under half? Aren't they doing 90 some odd plus laps here to try to prevent Scott Dixon from eking his way into fuel strategy like he seems to do every year here? But yeah, Mid-Ohio, the tagline I like to give it is it's anything but mid. It's a quality track here out in Lexington, Ohio that's definitely put on some grand events over the years.
You know, it most certainly has. You mentioned Scott Dixon and his fuel mileage mastery here at Mid-Ohio. It always seems to come down to that here is fuel mileage, no matter what they make the distance. Just for edification, the track record is held by Will Power, a minute 5:26.00. The unofficial track record, Skyman Pagano, back in 2016, he did a 103.8700 for in qualifying, and that is the unofficial track record currently. This track has a host of races from Formula Atlantic, F2000, Formula 1600, and the 24 Hours of Lemons comes here, all the way up through the primary event, which is the Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. This track, IndyCars first came here in 1980. It was originally owned by True Sports owner Jim Truman. Yes, that's the same man that owned Bobby Rahaal's 1986 Indy winner. And so it was. It's been around for a very long time. It was a mainstay of the kart schedule back when the split happened, and then when the merger happened, by Jove, we stayed at Mid-Ohio, and it's been on the schedule more or less, Jacob Collins, ever since.
Race winner. Hard to think back. Oh,
go ahead.
It's hard to think back to the days when we had the likes of IMSA and Can-Am here running regularly, and that's kind of where the track got its start and probably where it got the sports car course portion of the name from.
It most certainly did. Johnny Rutherford, Teo Fabi, Mario Andretti, Bobby Rahal, Roberto Guerrero won here for Andy Granatelli, Emerson Fittipaldi, Teo Fabi. Teo Fabi's won here twice. How about that? Once for Forsyth and once for Porsche. I believe that's Porsche's lone win. Michael Andretti, Alex Zanardi, Adrian Fernandez, Juan Montoya, Helio Castroneves, Patrick Carpentier. The aforementioned Scott Dixon has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times here, as has Pato Award, Alex Blow, Scott McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herta, and Alexander Rossi. It is a who's who of IndyCar royalty that have won here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Just to kind of show you what a lap might look like, we're going to jump on board with Leon Flugiker as he races around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course right now. Fast lap time, Anna Klimek, minute 6:836. And there's Flugiker. He comes across, grabs his second lap, and through that tough turn one, Jacob Collins, that is a tough corner to get through. Up through turn two, the keyhole, make this hard, sweeping right-hander. First gear, second gear, and blast toward China Beach.
A long back straightaway off the hairpin in the keyhole, and then you got to deal with the undulating down and then back up the hill very quickly here, working through the right-left, working through the back end of the straightaway here.
We don't talk about it a lot, but at the exit of turn 5 right there, the course is off camber to the cars, and it tends to introduce a ton of rear wheel spin. You can break the car loose. Same here at turn number 8 if you're not careful. You can really make the back end step out if you get on the power too hard. And then this is my personal unfavorite here. Turn 12, the carousel. I always seem to line that corner up wrong, Jacob, and wind up missing it. So that's a lap courtesy of Leon Flugiker, and he goes to 7th quick. How about that, Jacob?
Yeah, it's every corner here is very, very tricky to get around, almost deceptively so in a lot of cases. You kind of look at the track map here, and you wouldn't think that there's be a ton of very, very difficult corners here, but the elevation, the off-camber nature of pretty much every corner around here makes it all the more tricky to get around here in one piece consistently lap over lap.
It most certainly does. And speaking of lap over lap and consistency, what's the strategy here tonight? We're going to see guys on the red alternate tires. We're going to see them prefer the black primaries. When do you think we're going to see them stop, Jacob?
Well, I'm thinking we're going to see red running here. It's an overcast track, low temperature in the air, likely low temperature on the track. Haven't quite gotten to looking at just how cool it is, but I'd imagine that as we've seen historically at a track like this, Barber's another one where unless the track gets really, really hot, you're not going to see people maybe reach for those black primary tires as their preferred tires. So I'd imagine we'll see guys come in a little past the halfway mark here, maybe try to split this race evenly in half. The fuel run is a little bit over that. I want to say drivers can do 24, 25 or so relatively easily on a full tank here. So we'll just have to see when people start to kind of play their cards through the pit strategy here tonight.
Speaking of the weather, there is the weather right now, Jacob. 66 degrees in the air, 71 on the track. Winds out of the east at 11 miles an hour. And we don't need a meteorologist to tell us what the sky looks like. You can look up and see that it is overcast. There is no threat of rain, though, so we are not going to see any rain tonight. Do want to welcome all of our fans in. Big night for the boys from Luke Mansky Racing Esports. Your guys are quick. JT Smeaton third, Logan Edwards fifth, Jarrett Corey sixth, Caleb Brashear is 10th. So all four cars are in that top 10. Shane Coker has joined us, the Votive Racing League King, has joined in to watch his cars among those. Indy Kirkenbauer will go from 18th. He called him Indiana Kirkenbauer. That's good. You'd think he'd know his own driver's name, Jacob.
Well, you know, it is named after the famed event at the Speedway, after all.
He most certainly is. We're going to go ahead and get the music out of here because Jacob Collins, we are getting ready to have a grid. On the pole with a lap of 1 minute, 6 seconds, .836, it's Anna Klimek. Alan Berteau will start to her outside. JT Smeaton and Kevin Burrell will make up row 2. It's going to be Logan Edwards and Jarrett Corey from row 3. Leon Flugaker and Rashad Craig will start on the 4th row. Seb Alexander and Caleb Brashear, they're going to share row number 5. That's positions 9 and 10. In 11th, Nick Sudik, and we don't see Nick very often in a road course event, but he's going to line up 11th in the 11 car. Shady Ahmed will go from 12th. It's Sophia Connell and Thomas Van Kirk 13th and 14th, and Nigel Honiger and Sahaj Padir makes his series debut. They're going to start 15th and 16th. Lilac Zier 17th, Indy Kirkenbauer 18th, and Matt Taylor, shotgun on the field.
And don't die.
19th and final starter.
So you're telling me to mold and die. Got it.
I think the big thing we're going to see is who can survive that turn 1 here. We don't use the IndyCar start line here. We use the one that's traditionally placed well on the front stretch here where the cars are gridded up. So it's very tricky to get all the cars off that carousel and down off into turn 1. It's going to be very, very tricky here tonight.
It most certainly is, Jacob. I'm just looking forward to what should be a fantastic event. There's the pace car. It's always a fun time when you get here to Mid-Ohio. 41 laps. Now, this is a track known for its fuel mileage, Jacob. Do you think we're going to see fuel mileage play a part here?
Well, you have to think it's going to a little bit, especially as drivers can kind of eke past the halfway mark. We're seeing a number of drivers here tonight start on those black tires, maybe trying to stretch or shorten this opening stint. We'll have to see just necessarily how. We've got 2 starters on reds. That'll be Indy Kirchenbauer and Nigel Honinger, both on the red tire. Everybody else on blacks. So I'm imagining that we're going to see maybe a bit of games played to try to make it a advantageous move as everybody's on the same tire, given it's a single stop race here tonight.
You know, we've seen Indy do that on a number of occasions, Jacob, where he's done the opposite, and so we look forward to seeing. Such a good song, Miami Dan by Tampa Nightlife.
Those back and forth.
Yeah, they are. They're trying to get them warmed up. Anna Klimek playing with the pace car, Jacob.
Well, you know, they never said how close you could get to it.
Very, very true indeed. Pace car is getting ready to come around the carousel, and it's going to dive into the pit lane very short. Well, they weren't quite to the carousel yet. I had thought that was it, but they're coming under the Honda bridge. The Porsche 911.
You're just so excited to get this race underway.
Hey, the Porsche 911 is going to turn left, and not soon thereafter, Barney is going to have the green flag in hand, Jacob. I am excited for this. Mid-Ohio does present a unique challenge in these cars because there's such a difference in the tires. I would say it's going to be well worth watching Indy Kirchenbauer try to move forward on those red tires. Green flag is out, and we are underway here at Mid-Ohio, 41 laps in the INDYCAR Open Series.
Okay, see the bulk of the field single filing out to get through turn 1 here. We're going to get side by side between Smeaton and Bruteau for second here as Anna Klemek's gotten off to a
Whoa, we've already got one car in the wall. It's Indy. He has spun to the inside. Indy Kirchenbauer has tagged the inside of the wall at the exit of turn number 1, and it looks like he just lit the rear tires up, Jacob, and around he went already. Indy is going to have a short night. We go back to the front. Anna Klimek has staked herself already to a 1.2 second lead, Jacob.
Yeah, that's kind of the advantageous position you find yourself controlling the field on the start here, especially given the location of the start line here. You kind of are able to roll off, and nobody's else really able to react fast enough to make quite the same move around other cars around them. We'll see if that momentum starts to shift as the field funnels out at the conclusion of lap 1 here.
There you see Anna Klimek has stretched out to a 1.5 second lead. JT Smeaton in that number 1 Luke Mansky Racing Esports machine is second. Alan Bruteau runs along in third, and he's got the general Kevin Burrell behind him. It was Burrell who took the win last week at Watkins Glen, and then immediately following them, it's another Luke Mansky Racing Esports car, Logan Edwards. There's your top 5, and you got to wonder, is Kevin Burrell gonna get racy with his teammate, or are we gonna see something like we saw last week, Jacob, where he just he's gonna try to get him on pit strategy?
Well, I think the big thing here is it's so difficult to set up a pass around here. You kind of notice that everybody's single file around the bulk of this track, and really your big opportunity is heading down the back straightaway off to China Beach, and you got to really commit to that move and commit to it early, otherwise it's going to end a lot of nights very, very quickly. But certainly going to be one of those things you're going to have to imagine that if you can play the mind game or play the strategy game, that's going to be the easiest way to make up spots here tonight.
Going to ride on board with the general Kevin Burrell as he gives chase to teammate Alan Bruteau. This is P4 looking at P3. Burrell up the hill, makes the right-hander into the keyhole, that tight hairpin. First gear, and then you blast out of there, and you are fully on the power all the way down to turn 4 in China Beach. China Beach, of course, where Michael Andretti had a spectacular incident, got over on his noggin in the Swift car for Newman Haas way back when. through the S's, and they're going to round turn 9, and this is another famous part of the track. This is Thunder Valley. You go down the hill, flat out. Turn 10 is there. It is not much of a corner. Turn 11, you slow down for a little bit, and then you're hard on the brakes right here for the carousel turn number 12. 13 is more of just a flick, isn't it, Jacob?
Well, you think it's just a flick, but it's still probably just about as treacherous as turn 1 is, even given the lower speed you're approaching it at. It's one of those corners that you look at it, you get to it, and you're like, well, now I'm off the track. So it's definitely what you kind of got to remember is there nonetheless.
For certain sure, here is Jarrett Corey. He is the Luke Mansky Racing Esports machine. That is in yellow trim. You've got Logan Edwards with purple. JT Smeaton has blue on his car, and Caleb Brashear is more of a darker blue. That's how you tell the Luke Mansky cars apart. And there's Brashear. He runs along in 9th. He is the meat in an Indy Alliance Racing sandwich. They've got he's got Rashad Craig ahead of him and Seb Alexander behind him, Jacob.
Yeah, neither of those drivers are slouches. We saw the likes of Seb Alexander leading the race from Laguna Seca. I believe he may have even won that race as well. And Rashad, former series champ. So Caleb's got himself in the right place with maybe the spot of very tough opponents around him at the back half of the top 10 here.
We're going to get to see a lot more of Caleb Brashear here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. He has agreed to join me to call the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series that's going to be starting here in a couple of weeks, and so we're going to get to hear the voice of Caleb Brashear, an interesting guy. Got to spend a lot of time with him at the Sim Gaming Expo in Schaumburg, Illinois this last September. Jacob, he's a fun dude. I know you hung out with him some too, and I look forward to sharing a booth with him as well.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a good bit of fun watching the tin tops go around for a whole season here on the channel each and every week.
Most certainly is. That's the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. They go off at 8:20. There is a pre-race show for those two series, the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series and the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Those pre-race shows start at 7:50. Race starts at 8:20. And so those will be along Thursday and Friday nights, beginning with the start of the NASCAR season in Daytona. So that's only a couple of weeks away, Jacob. We're watching Caleb Brashear. Best battle on the track, near as I can tell it, is Rashad Craig on Leon Flugiker. Now, Leon Flugiker has kind of lost touch a little bit with Jarrett Corey, and it appears as though Rashad may be getting ready to set up a pass on him, Jacob.
Well, you say that, but it's a game of inches around here, right? We're going to see him kind of all conga together as Corey goes off the track at the end of China Beach. He's going to be rejoining the track, getting back going here, but certainly going to be one of those things where you're going to see the drivers kind of contract together through these very, very tight twisting corners and then expand back out as they hit that long straightaway on the front half of the course.
Yeah, there you go. Looking over Rashad Craig's right shoulder, and you can see Caleb Brashear in very close contact. And you're right, Jacob. It is kind of an accordion effect here as you go through some of these slower corners. But that mistake from Jarrett Corey really kind of, I think, bailed out Leon Flugiker. He was getting close to losing the draft of the car in front, and that would have been disastrous, because down that long back straightaway there, Jacob, it can get kind of lonesome if you don't have a car in front of you.
Yeah, that's been the big thing about running this track historically across the entire Road to Indy ladder system, is the draft here is so strong down that long back straightaway that if you can kind of maintain and hold distance there, you can put yourself in a decent spot to at least stay in competition with those around you, especially if you're maybe tucked in behind multiple cars ahead.
Most certainly can. There's the gearbox of Leon Flugiker looking back at his pursuers. Again, Rashad Craig, then Caleb Brashear, and then creeping into the picture behind them is the number 9 of Seb Alexander as he runs along in the 10th spot. So that's the closest battle on the track. Flugiker, then Craig, then Brashear. Anna Klimek leads it by 1.5 seconds over JT Smeaton. Kevin Burrell, the general, has gotten past Alan Bruteau. He runs along in third, Bruteau fourth, and then the Luke Mansky Racing Esports teammates of Logan Edwards and Jarrett Curry, although they are separated by about 2 seconds. That's Curry in front of this battle, and then you've got Flugiker, Craig, and so forth. Do want to Go ahead, Jacob. No, you go ahead. You had the microphone first, brother.
Lap times are starting to kind of contract together too as well. We see the likes of Klimek only about 3/4 of a tenth faster than the cars behind her. So it's certainly going to get to the point where it will literally be a game of inches in terms of who's making up time here tonight.
Well, and that's kind of the strategy, right? We figured what, 20 some odd laps on fuel. Jacob, 20 what? You thought 23 or so would be the...
Yeah, 24, 25 more than likely.
So the pit window is going to open up here in about 5 to 6 laps. And you had said that you thought that the red tires, the alternate tires, would be preferred. Let's check out the weather. The sun is starting to peek out here at Mid-Ohio, but the temperature is still very, very mild. 66 in the air, 78 on the track. The wind remains east-southeast at about 10, 11 miles an hour. It's not a very humid day here in virtual Mid-Ohio either, and so just about perfect conditions to come race these cars, Jacob.
The other thing to keep in mind is it might be a lot of these drivers are trying to avoid potentially a drastic fall off of those red tires, right? They may be quick over the opening portion, but fall off rather quickly, and maybe shortening that stint up late in the going. Maybe they're not looking to maybe maximize the speed, if you will, but they're trying to reduce the speed loss on the tail end of the stint.
Well, and let's have a look at the only driver currently running those red alternate tires that is in touch with another car. That is Nigel Honegger. Honegger, minute 9, 5:41. He's actually made up only one spot from the start, and so Nigel 109, 5:41, and he is basically running the same lap times as Sophia Connell and Shady Ahmed ahead of him. So the tire offset, not a huge advantage for Nigel Honegger. The other car that is on the red alternate tires, Indy Kirchenbauer, and Indy is 14 seconds adrift of Lilac Zier in last place. Indy, of course, had that spin at the very beginning of the running, and so that's the story on tires. Everybody else is on the primary tires. Luke Mansky chimes in. He says the primes may be the preferred tire here. So one thing we didn't take into account, we were talking about conditions, Jacob, as Kevin Burrell was pulled in on JT Smeaton, one thing we didn't talk about with the conditions was the sustained loading. There's a lot of hard corners here that could chew up those softer alternates in a hurry.
Well, I think the big thing we also have to account for is that hybrid weight, right? That may change a bit of the situation we had going into this as well, is that you've got more weight on the rear of the car. That extra load on the back end of the car probably chews the tires up just that little bit more and may put it in a situation where we're going to start to see more and more of these tracks become primary preferred, where they may have been a bit more preferred to the alternates in the past.
You know, that's something that we didn't talk about, but we probably should. That extra 50 pounds back there, it changes the handling characteristics of the car. It changes the weight distribution, of course. And it's more strain on the rear tires, isn't it, Jacob?
Yeah, it certainly is, and you especially notice it under braking. It's much more difficult to get the car slowed down the way you want it. I've noticed, especially in the bouts of testing I did to get a feel for this track this week, is that you kind of needed to back the corners up a bit more than you kind of expected to historically here. That's probably just down to that extra weight alongside the rear lock that the fully charged hybrid really puts in on you.
Well, and the other thing is you goose the hybrid and the push to pass coming off a corner. That's an extra 100 horsepower. And this track is already notorious for lighting up rear tires. It has some off-camber corners. You can find yourself in a situation where you just loop the thing.
Yeah, that seems to especially ring true on cold tires. That was kind of the big storyline we had coming into this one, is that cold tires were going to be difficult. We saw it catch out the likes of Indy Kirschenbauer off the start of this race, heading off through turn one. Especially on the reds, I imagine that's going to be very difficult. We'll see as that kind of progresses, as drivers get closer and closer to that pit window and have to get onto that tougher to handle tire early in the going.
Speaking of closer and closer, the general Kevin Burrell is all over the back of JT Smeaton now. He is looking for any way that he can to get by the Luke Mansky Racing Esports driver in second place. This is, of course, Kevin Burrell fiercely forward with P1 Docks as he gives chase to JT Smeaton all over the gearbox, very close together as they come through the carousel and go down toward turn 13, Jacob.
Yeah, it's that Constantina effect, accordion effect, whatever you want to call it. Those twisty sections, especially on the back half of the track, very, very tight. Almost feels like a bit of a short track with how close the cars get together through the corners back there.
And you can see the general. You can see him working that push to pass, the green lighting up on the steering wheel, getting in the throttle as hard as possible. He's on the button again. Opposite lock coming out of the corner. He is trying to work that draft coming down the back straight toward China Beach. By contrast, Smeaton has not used very much of his push to pass yet. We're going to go ahead and throw that up here because it is relevant. Smeaton has the most of any of the top five at 185 seconds. Jarrett Corey, Leon Flukiger have only used 5 seconds apiece. Rashad Craig only 3. But Kevin Burrell is really leaning on that push to pass button. And it makes me wonder, Jacob, if the extra hybrid power here is enough to keep Smeaton ahead, even though he's not using his push to pass.
Well, I think the bigger thing is that with as difficult it is to pass here, the slight advantage you can put yourself at of being able to deploy that hybrid at the right times is probably just enough to keep a challenging car behind you. We've seen it at a number of tracks already, especially the ones like this one where the passing windows are very, very narrow, and I think that hybrid system kind of helps defending cars be able to hold off these positions as Burrell closes in on the end of the backstretch here.
Yeah, he's going to go to the outside, headed for turn number 4. He does not make the move. That, of course, would put him in the preferred line for turn 5, but Kevin thinks better of it. Better to back off, save the car, make another run. But it is really difficult to make a pass up there, and that might be the best passing spot on the course going into turn 4 and going into the keyhole turn 2.
Yeah, you kind of get two straightaways here of any significance, so that's really where you're going to be able to, use those tools of the push to pass, the hybrid, the draft especially, to kind of wind the car up and get it alongside, and that's really the only shots you've got at it.
Yeah, everything else is it's very fast, but it's very free flowing, and so it can be difficult to make a move here, Jacob. That's why pit stops here are going to be so key. Burrell so close going through the hairpin at the keyhole, can't quite get it done. Meanwhile, Logan Edwards has closed down on Alan Berteau. This is a battle for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, kind of as the cars ahead of them have gotten further away, that's allowed Edwards to kind of crawl back in onto Berteau here. The draft only works about a second and a half out, and I'd imagine, depending on where you catch him on the course, Berteau might be just outside of that window. So Edwards has got a bit of an advantage here, being as close as he is to Berteau ahead.
Absolutely. So Logan Edwards continues to work on Alan Berteau. The only other real battle on the track is Nigel Honegger continues to shadow Shady Ahmed. And there's Honegger in the Aero McLaren liveried car. 14th, Shady Ahmed, Repsol, the Repsol Honda livery, made more famous almost by arrows. But Honegger looks to have the grip going down the front straight. If he can stay there, he might have a shot going into the keyhole, Jacob.
Well, the big thing is if you don't get that shot, we're going to see him look to the inside here and go for it.
He overcooked it quite a bit. Shady Ahmed gives him room. Honegger dirt tracks it off the corner. That's a great pass from Nigel Honegger. And he spent 16 laps trying to figure out how to get that done. It finally happens, and let's see if he can hold it, because Shady Ahmed is going to come back to the outside at China Beach. It does not happen. Nigel Honegger will lay claim to the 13th spot, and Shady Ahmed is immediately going to have problems from the Dunder Mifflin livery machine of Thomas Van Kirk right behind him. And then you've got Matt Taylor running along in 16th. Taylor started last. I believe he's made up the most of anybody on the track, and it's only 3 spots, Jacob.
Yeah, it takes a while to get that pass set up and to make it. The thing I was trying to get in there before the pass was made is that it's a high-risk move to get into the keyhole alongside another car, because you kind of have to work the inside lane, and while it is preferred, you still have to kind of track out on the exit. And we saw, fortunately, that Honegger was able to kind of clear Ahmed before they made it off the corner exit. But that's a high-risk maneuver to make, especially if you don't make it, because then you've got to work on trying to rebuild the momentum down that long back straightaway, and that's about the last thing you want to do.
You do indeed. Kevin Burrell continues all over the back of JT Smeaton. This is the battle for second. Anna Klimek is more than 2 seconds up the road from this battle. We do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all future iRacing action just like this. And we've got a big week with IndyCars on iRacing on the channel. It all starts right here with the Indy Open Top Split broadcast at 7 on Monday, and we're here every Monday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. Immediately following this, 9 o'clock, it's going to be the Indy Next Road Series Monday Night Top Split from the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Dino di Ferrari. For those of you who want to not have the tongue twister, that would be Imola. Jacob, Imola. Are you running a full course down there tonight? Over there tonight?
Yeah, Grand Prix.
Indeed. So if you want to see some Indy Next action, hang around. Jacob Collins, Sophia Connell will have you all fixed up at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. It is a triple header. We've got the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split. That is going to be from Auto Club. And if that's not a 5,000 strength of field race, Jacob, I'll eat my hat. You're going to see every big name come out of the garage for that one. Tuesday night Oval top splits is going to happen 7:15 Eastern. It's immediately going to be followed by the Indy Next Oval Series Tuesday night top split. That's 8:30 from New Hampshire. Again, Jacob Collins, Sophie O'Connell will have that one. And then the nightcap, the Area 51 IndyCar Series, is going to be live from Michigan at 9:30. That's myself and Andrew Wood. And Jacob, if you want to see super speedway IndyCar racing, just show up tomorrow, put it on P1. We got you covered. Wednesday night, the Horizon IndyCar Series will happen from Portland at 8:20. And then a new series, Jacob, the Formula Super Series, the Miami Grand Prix at 8:20 p.m. Talk to us about that, because you're going to be calling it.
Yeah, it's the kind of the offset series of Formula Indy Series, utilizing standing starts in Indy cars, but we're taking the super formulas to venues that are a bit more traditional to them, or well, probably not, because they're Japan's regional Formula Series, but should be an interesting shout, especially given that Miami Grand Prix track is a very tricky one to get around, and that SF23 is a tricky machine in its own right.
It most certainly is. Nothing on the channel for the rest of the week. We get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And Jacob, we're going to be back next week. You and I, Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, a week from tonight. We're going to take these cars to Iowa. How about that?
A classic.
It is a classic. There is not much more that I enjoy than an IndyCar race at Iowa. That is a fabulous place to have one. I so very much wish that they would go back, because I would certainly get in the old hot rod and drive out there for it. It's a tremendous race. Speaking of that, speaking of going to races, Jacob, do you have an itinerary this year as we watch Kevin Burrell continue to hound JT Smeaton? Pit stops have started, by the way. Nick Sudik, Sophia Connell, Shady Ahmed, Matt Taylor, Thomas Van Kirk have pitted for their red alternate tires. Indy Kirchenbauer has stopped and put on the primes, and Sahaj Pod Hair has retired. He will be credited with 19th spot. But do you have plans to go see some racing this year, Jacob?
The two I'm certainly going, or well, I guess the three I'm going to for certain are the two races at Milwaukee and the Indy 500 this year. And then aside from that, I'll maybe get to Road America this year. I'm still coin flipping it between that and a kart race here that I want to try to race here at Mid-Ohio, actually. So we'll see where I end up with that. But I've got a couple.
I'll tell you what, I will forgo going to Road America if I can come be your pit crew.
That might be a tough sell, Mark.
Well, it's always chancy when you see me with a wrench in my hand, Jacob. It's usually best to take the wrench away. My wife, I was fixing something to my rig yesterday. My wife saw that I had the wrenches out, and I thought she was going to call for an ambulance. Anyway, I'm gonna do several. We're gonna go to Milwaukee. We're gonna go to Indianapolis. As Smeaton comes in, Kevin Burrell comes in. Smeaton stays on the track. And so there's the general. We haven't talked about her a lot, but there's Anna Klimek. She continues to lead, and that is JT Smeaton, 1.7 seconds back, and they are in the window, Jacob. But as per usual, the shorter amount of time you can run those red alternate tires, the better off you usually are. And Anna Klimek not under threat from anybody. She might as well run the tank dry, Jacob.
Yeah, that would be my thought, especially given the gap she had kind of built up over the course of this opening stint here. Still around 2 seconds over JT Smeaton behind, maybe a little less depending on where you catch him here. But I think at this rate, if you can stretch this opening stint out and shorten that alternate stint up as best you can, lighten the amount of fuel you got to take, that's gonna go a bit further than I think we might give it credit for from the drop of the green here.
Well, and Luke Mansky just chimed in and said, hey, Burrell might be too early on the alternates. That may be, but he's going to short pit it to try and overtake JT Smeaton. Here comes Anna Klimek. Smeaton is going to follow, and that is going to turn the race lead over to this man, Alan Bruteau, and he still has his shadow. It's another Luke Mansky car, and it is Logan Edwards. So Logan Edwards, the old narc brain, runs along in second. And that car in the distance back there is teammate Jarrett Corey, who's moved up to third. Leon Flugiker is fourth. Rashad Craig has now moved into fifth spot. So former series champion cracks the top five here, Jacob. So we're going to do Milwaukee. We're going to do Indianapolis. No decision yet on Road America. I do have some friends in D.C., so we've been thinking about whether or not we can bum a couch and head out to the America, what are they calling it, the America 250 or whatever it is. Thinking about bumming a couch and heading out that way. Haven't made a decision on that yet, Jacob, but who knows. That'll be a sight to see, if nothing else. IndyCars running around the National Mall. But I do so very much look forward to Milwaukee. That's a heck of a weekend if you can score it. Get into town on Friday, catch a Brewers game if they're in town. Go to the races Saturday and Sunday. It could be a fun time.
Oh, we already looked well in advance. I believe the Texas Rangers are in town if anybody's hailing from that area. So come on out. We got baseball, we got beer, we got cheese, we got Indy cars at Milwaukee. Do you want to be there?
Do they still have the Brewers mascot slide down the slide into a giant vat of beer at the ballpark?
I don't know if they've got the giant vat of beer anymore, but they still got Bernie doing the slide. So
that was the theme of what was once called Miller Park, and I still call it Miller Park. But the mascot of the Milwaukee Brewers, for the uninitiated, when the Brewers would hit a home run, would slide down a water slide looking thing into a giant vat of beer, and I don't know if they do that anymore. I'll have to go see for myself and get a picture with Bob Uecker's statue. I used to listen. That was one of the great things, Jacob, about that was one of the great things about having the MLB Pass or whatever it is, their streaming service. Bruteau is going to hit pit lane, and I believe Logan Edwards is going to go for another round. It's worth noting Kevin Burrell, his last time through, 108.633, so he was not decisively faster than these surrounding drivers. For comparison, Logan Edwards last time 108.993, Jarrett Corey 108.863. So he's not making up a ton of time on those alternate tires, Jacob.
I think the telltale will be is that now he's got the tires up to temp and he's ahead of JT here. That was kind of the big struggle of the opening stint, was trying to find a way around. And now that he's got kind of clean track ahead of him for the most part, we'll see if he's able to start to roll forward here and start to slowly inch back towards Clemick here at the front.
Yeah, he's got a 3/4 of a second gap over JT Smeaton. So not only has he made the pass, but he's gotten clear. Now the question is going to be whether the alternate red tires hold up. You're watching Logan Edwards as he continues in the lead, still not stopped. Edwards, Corey, Craig, Brashear, and Seb Alexander, everybody behind P5, yet to make a pit stop. And here comes Logan Edwards, and we'll see, is anybody else going to go for another round? There's Seb. Corey is in. Alexander is in, and that is going to hand the lead to this man, Rashad Craig. He's going to go for another, Jacob.
Yeah, Rashad's opting to do as big of a stretch as he can here. I'm wondering if he feels like he's got something to maybe hold those alternates for the shortest amount of time and make up the most time of those cars that were kind of just ahead of him.
Well, he's not losing any time, Jacob. His last lap, 108.436. He's given up about a second to Anna Clement, Kevin Burrell, JT Smeaton, and so on, but he's not really racing those cars. He's racing, Jarrett Corey, Leon Flugiker, and so forth, and those cars just stopped. So he's only doing one extra lap from the cars that were around him. And Rashad, very cagey veteran, of course, the past series champion. If he feels like he can gain an advantage by running a shorter red stint, why not? So Rashad Craig, and he'll get to lead a lap. But that was the great thing about having the MLB season pass, was that you could listen to all of the out of market radio broadcasts, and that was a favorite summer pastime, was listening to the great Bob Uecker call the Milwaukee Brewers games. No color commentator needed, Jacob Collins.
Well, I think we've seen here is the pit strategies made all the overtakes tonight. As we see Logan Edwards ahead of Alan Berteau for the time being. We'll see if that holds the rest of the stint here, but seems like the pit lane was where all the overtakes were made today.
It is. Alan Berteau all over the back of Logan Edwards. This is a battle for fourth spot. Edwards has it. Berteau wants it. Berteau is a lap to the worse on tires, which is to his advantage in the moment. But if Logan Edwards can hold him off, he'll have the advantage because he doesn't have to go as far on his alternates. Berteau to the outside into China Beach. Jacob!
They're fine.
That is two very, very skilled men right there to hold it side by side through the 4, 5, 6, 7 complex at Mid-Ohio and not hit each other is tremendous. Logan Edwards, though, he won't lose touch with Alan Berteau. If he can keep him in his sights, I have a feeling that Logan Edwards will at some point be able to challenge Berteau for that spot one more time. It's worth noting that Rashad Craig has made it past Leon Flugiker. These two had been battling, but Craig's got the same problem that Logan Edwards had. He's got ice-cold alternate tires, and Flugiker is up to 10th behind him. There's a 2-lap differential here, Jacob.
Yeah, we just saw Seb Alexander the last time by get caught out by those cold alternates heading off into turn 1. He's got the meatball flag on him, so it's for those cars around you to strike is when you're kind of being that extra cautious to keep the tires from sliding out from underneath you early in the going.
Yeah, there is Seb Alexander, and we're going to see what we can see if we can. We're going to see what we can see and see what's happened to the Indy Alliance Racing team leader. There he is, and he is in front of Nick Sudik, and so he was running along in the 10th spot, and my guess is he suffered the same fate as Indy Kirkenbauer here, going through turn number 1. There he is, and Seb is going to gas it. He's going to get on the rumble strips, hangs the right rear over the edge, and that's all she wrote, Jacob. Down the embankment, and noses are on into the tires, and that's going to be a meatball for Seb. And there he sits on pit lane. Kevin Burrell rather, has kind of fallen back to JT Smeaton a little bit. Smeaton a tenth and a half quicker that last time through.
Yeah, but it's going to be that telltale thing we saw with the opening stint. Catching is one, passing is another. We'll see just how quickly those alternates degrade, and if Smeaton's maybe got something to find that extra inch or two to get by Burrell once more.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. There's the drone cam. Do want to thank Whiplash Sim Cams for the amazing views here of Mid-Ohio. If you're an iRacing broadcaster, photographer, reach out to Whiplash Sim Cams. They'll fix you up. That's good stuff. The drone cam, Jacob. It's an interesting view of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And my goodness gracious, JT Smeaton, that last time through, he and Burrell nearly identical.
Now, they're both running just a little bit faster than Klemic that last time by. Klemic with an 8.457, and then these two behind, Burrell with an 8.341, and Smeaton with an 8.386. So it's going to be the narrow margins that get these drivers either further towards the front or ultimately stacked right back up on top of each other.
It is indeed. Do want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all future iRacing action. We've got a nightcap tonight, the Indy Next Series at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard from the famous Imola circuit in Europe. Jacob Collins, Sophia Connell will be live with you at 9. And then tomorrow night, we've got a triple header. It all starts at 7:15 with the big show. That is the Indy Oval Series live from Auto Club. You've got the Indy Next Oval Series from New Hampshire at 8:30 in the middle. And then the Area 51 INDYCAR Series, the longest continuously running INDYCAR Series in the service. They're going to end it at 9:30 Eastern Standard with Andrew Wood and I calling a 200-miler from Michigan. Won't that be fun?
100 laps of pure speed at the Michigan Speedway. Not a bad way to do it.
Of course, the Area 51 series is a series near and dear to my heart. I'm a former participant in that fine season, or that fine series. A lot of guys in that league that I used to race against. So it's enjoyable to be up in the booth rather than have to worry about them on the racetrack, Jacob. You see Smeaton, he is continuing to inch closer to the general, Kevin Burrell, and it would seem to me that Smeaton, with his one lap of tire advantage over Kevin, may simply kind of be stalking his prey and waiting. It's going to be the same story for Logan Edwards and Alan Bruteau. Edwards with a one-lap tire advantage over Bruteau. Both of these cars are much more freshly shod than either Smeaton, Burrell, or Klemic, 2 and 3 laps, respectively, as you see it. So still something to play here for Bruteau and Edwards.
Well, I think the big thing is you don't want to give the other driver too many opportunities to pass you back, right? Even if it is difficult to get around one another, you don't want to give them any more opportunities than you maybe have to in terms of giving them a chance to make the move back by on you.
Well, but if the rear tires are worn out, Jacob, is it really, do you really have a choice? You see Logan Edwards now, he is swinging right and left, looking for any way he can to get past the fiercely forward with P1 Doc's machine of Alan Bruteau. That's especially going to show up at the exit of the keyhole, wouldn't you think, where you're trying to get power down, launch down that long back straightaway. If the rears are chewed up, you might not really have much of a choice other than the baby, and that's just going to leave you vulnerable at the end of that back straight.
Well, I think the big thing for these cars kind of trailing in these respective battles here is they're able to rely on a bit of what I call the overspeed. I'm not quite sure what the technical term is, but kind of that extra boost of speed you get from trailing a car heading off into these braking zones. You kind of see the gap close up rather quickly for that car behind, and you can kind of use that to your advantage to get the car slowed up a bit differently, maybe reduce that rear wear, and not have to spend as much time maybe necessarily worrying about that that tire wear when you get to those heavy throttle down areas on the course. But we'll just have to see how that plays out coming into this race.
Here's the view from Logan Edwards. He continues to give chase. This is the best battle on the track at this particular point in the race. It is worth noting Kevin Burrell has chopped the deficit up front to under 2 seconds, and he has consistently been a couple of tenths quicker than Anna Klimek, although it's also worth noting that if they keeps cutting away at 2/10 a lap, he's going to come up about a second short on Anna for the win. JT Smeaton is just about a second behind Burrell, but this is the battle. This is for fourth spot. Alan Berteau has it. Logan Edwards wants it, and that's a former series champion sitting in front of the old narc brain there. You know he wants to make this pass, Jacob.
Yeah, it's kind of been, he gets closed back up to Berteau, and then that gap kind of builds up over the course of the rest of the lap. We'll just have to see if he can put enough of the laps together these next couple laps to maybe mount that final push to the fourth spot.
It is worth noting that Caleb Brashear has retired his machine. He will finish 18th. Seb Alexander has also retired now, so he is going to be credited with 17th. The final car running, and the only car one lap down, is Indy Kirchenbauer. He is 16th. Lilac Zier is standing by to be lapped. She is about 55 seconds in arrears of Anna Klimek. The good news for Anna is when she gets there, she'll be lapping a teammate, and so that's good news. I don't think Lilac Zier is going to do much in the way of holding up Anna Klimek, and that might be bad news for Kevin Burrell. There are no other lap cars that are going to be in play here, and that's a great shot from the P1 airship. Do want to thank Whiplash SimCams one more time for the views. And if you're out there and you're enjoying the coverage, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can join us for all of our high-quality iRacing, IndyCar, and NASCAR content here on the channel. Jacob, we're going to start getting busy. There's going to be something once the iRacing INDYCAR Series starts. There's going to be something pretty much every night of the week here.
And we got just about all different kinds of racing on here. I think we need to get some dirt. I think that's what we need next.
I think we do need some dirt, and maybe we can convince Gary God. So one of the things that we mentioned tracks that races we're going to visit. I don't include dirt in those. Those plans because I've been known to sneak away to Kokomo for a dirt race or two throughout the year. And I'll tell you this, my home track, the Tri-State Speedway, Hobstadt, Indiana, they have a sprint car race down there, Jacob, that pays $25,000 to win. I usually sneak down there for that one, usually sometime in September. It's a good time. You put $25,000 on the board for a sprint car race, Jacob, you're going to see cars you haven't seen in a long time come out. Let's flash back to Rashad Craig on Leon Flukiger. Rashad Craig is 2 laps to the better on the tires over Leon Flukiger in the Rebellion Racing machine. And look, Rashad Craig has he came out ahead, he fell back, he got past. Rashad Craig regrouped, warmed his tires up, got him worn in, and he is all over the back of Flukiger now.
Yeah, he's basically just looking for the right opportunity. He's going to close in and through the carousel here. We'll see if Rashad's able to make the run potentially down the back straightaway here on Flukiger for the 7th spot.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Do want to welcome everybody watching. We just passed, Jacob Collins, 100 concurrent viewers. So thank you all so very much for tuning us in. You're watching Rashad Craig and Leon Flukiger do battle. This is for 7th and 8th. Logan Edwards is now really tight on Alan Berteau. Logan Edwards has closed it to under 0.2 of a second, Jacob. He is right there on the back of the Fiercely Ford with P1 Docks machine, and let's see if he can get it done.
And we'll watch them navigate towards that final carousel corner Work that left-hander. We'll see if Edwards can close back in, head down the front stretch here, and maybe set something up down the back straightaway here.
These are the passing zones going toward the keyhole and coming out of it. So we'll see if Logan Edwards can make those fresher red alternate tires work on Alan Brutteau. Tighter line there from Edwards, and he's not going to be close enough getting to the keyhole. Let's see if he can get a launch coming out.
Don't think he's going to be quite close enough here.
Don't believe so. As a matter of fact, he might have lost a little bit of time at the exit of the keyhole, so he'll have to follow Alan Brutteau one more time through China Beach. But he's running out of laps, Jacob. We've only got 3 to go here. When we get to the line, at least, it'll be 3 to go.
Yeah, running out of laps indeed, and you gotta wonder maybe if it was entirely just down to qualifying, right? You put your car at the front of the field. We saw Anna kind of skirt away from the field, and the rest of the drivers behind her were having to fight for position those opening couple laps. That may have made all the difference here tonight.
Yeah, there she is, Anna Klimek. It's worth noting, Kevin Burrell, the general, is continuing to close in. It was under 2 seconds at the line, 1.7 seconds. So he is coming, and there you see the gap. That's what 2 seconds looks like here at Mid-Ohio. As Shane Coker said, he wanted the deer cam, and there it is. Anna Klimek's been having a season. She became one of the only drivers to win a top split broadcasted open and top split oval fixed race in the same week, back-to-back nights, and that came on the heels of a second-place finish in the Votive Indy Derby. And so she's been having a season, Jacob, and she's leading here with another shot at a trophy.
Yeah, she's leading the points here in open. I think at one point she was leading the points in oval fixed. I believe she's currently sitting second there, and we could see a season here where it's double championships toward the deer.
That series I just mentioned, by the way, the Votive INDYCAR Series, next will appear on P1 February 22nd, and their race will be from Michigan. They share Sunday nights with the Dark Horse DW12 Series. They were on last night, had a big crowd for a great race at Charlotte. Indy Kirchenbauer won that one by an eyelash over Jeff Heisong. About the width of the front wing main plane was the margin of victory for that one. Anna Klimek, 2 laps to go. The only race, and we'll continue to show Anna, the only race that is in dispute, or the only position that's in dispute, is Brutteau and Edwards for 4th and 5th. Rashad Craig has fallen back a little bit from Leon Flugiker in 7th, so he may be settling for the 8th spot. No other cars are really in fighting distance as we come. We've got the white flag now for Anna Klimek, 1 lap to go.
Yeah, we saw Edwards, or rather, I saw Edwards kind of close all the way back to Brutteau's attenuator heading through the carousel that time by. Don't think he's going to have enough heading off into the keyhole or down the back straightaway here to make a move, but he's been trying everything he possibly can to make one. They're
both equal on push to pass. It's going to be, can Logan Edwards get enough in the draft? And I don't think he's close enough here, Jacob, unless he does something extremely desperate, and he's not. And so Logan Edwards is going to fall in behind Alan Brutteau, and that seems to have settled the battle for 4th. Meanwhile, Anna Klimek, there's nobody around her, Jacob. Kevin Burrell has been held at bay. Anna Klimek is going to go through the S's. She'll come to turn 9, go down Thunder Valley, through the carousel, and Anna Klimek is going to emerge victorious here at Mid-Ohio. There's Kevin
Another week, another dominant performance.
Kevin Burrell flashes across the line in 2nd, then JT Smeaton. Logan Edwards never gave up. Alan Brutteau finished 4th, Logan Edwards 5th. Here comes Jarrett Curry in 6th. Rashad Craig never gave up on the back of Leon Flugiker, but they'll come home 7th and 8th. Flugiker over Craig. Nick Sudik has yet to make his appearance in ninth, but I assure you he'll be along. There he is through turn 13. Nick Sudik in ninth. And then rounding out your top 10 is Sophia Connell. What a nice run for your broadcast mate. Matt Taylor will come home 11th, and he improves 8 spots. Shady Ahmed, Thomas Van Kirk, Nigel Honiger. That was Indy Kirkenbauer. Here comes Nigel, and the last car running is Lilac Zier. And we're going to have to wait a minute because she was nearly, Jacob, a full lap down to teammate Anna Klimek when Anna took the flag. So here comes Lilac Zier, and there she is. Lilac Zier is going to finish in the 15th spot, Jacob. For the win, it's going to be Anna Klimek. Kevin Burrell, JT Smeaton are going to make up your podium. Alan Berteau is 4th. Logan Edwards will round out the top 5. Great showing for the Luke Mansky Racing Esports team, 3rd and 5th. How about Jarrett Corey? Another Luke Mansky driver is going to be 6th. 3 out of the top 6, Jacob. That's not a bad day at the old racetrack, is it?
Not at all.
So you got a TMR winner, 2 Fiercely Ford cars, 2nd and 4th, and 3 Luke Mansky cars to make up the top 6. Leon Flugiker is 7th. Rashad Craig for Indy Alliance Racing is 8th. Nicholas Sudik for Fiercely Ford Racing is 9th. And Sophia Connell and another Taylor Mills Racing entry is going to come home in 10th. And 11th, it's Matt Taylor for Team I5G, then Shady Ahmed, Thomas Van Kirk, Nigel Honiger is 14th. Lilac Zier in another one of those Taylor Mills Racing machines is 15th. Indy Kirchenbauer for the Votive Racing League is 16th. Seb Alexander, Indy Alliance Racing is 17th. Caleb Brashear, the lone Luke Mansky Racing machine not to finish, is 18th. And then Sahaj Padir is going to round out the field in 19th. Let's see if we've got a driver or two hanging around. Jacob Collins, what do you say?
Works for me.
If it works for you, brother, it works for me too. Who do we got? JT Smeaton. JT Smeaton, you've got Murph and you've got Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I do.
It was a battle first with Burrell, then Brutteau. You ran second for the first part of the race. Brutteau leapfrogs you on the pit stops. Was it just a matter of being undercut and not being able to get back by the general?
Yeah, it was pretty much that, to be honest. I didn't realize how major the undercut was going to be, but yeah, I mean, even with just a 1 lap advantage on tires, he was able to get past me. I try to defend him because I knew that I think I would still be able to have a chance at first if I kept it behind. But yeah, I mean, he put on a great overtake, so fair play to him. But yeah, definitely some things to look at.
Jacob?
We kind of figured it was going to come down to the pit lane here tonight in terms of making overtakes, just with how tight the window is for making on-track passes, especially with tools like the hybrid in play here. Kind of talk us through what it's like to kind of have to play, first or second fiddle in a 2-car battle at any given time to try to keep the track position for what it is, and knowing that the ultimate kind of trump card will be played out off the course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big challenge for sure. I mean, you've got 200 seconds of push to pass, and it's pretty difficult to use it other than maybe the after turn 1 and then after the keyhole. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like you said, it's just battling with things off the track, and I think ultimately that's what made the difference around here. I had a quite big advantage in terms of push to pass halfway through the race, but it's just tough because even if you have more push to pass than the guy in front of you, even though you can get close down the straight, the gap opens back up through the middle sector because with dirty air, it's pretty hard to follow. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, it came down to pit road, and I think that's what Kevin did a great job with, to be honest.
He does tend to do that. He's been around he's been around a while. So full marks. It was great watching you battle with Kevin Burrell. You're bringing home on the podium one more time, JT. It's always good to talk to you here. You're getting to be a veteran at this. So microphone is yours. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs.
I
The
wish.
floor is yours.
Yeah, of course. Firstly, big shout out to my team, Luke Mansky Racing Esports, for the awesome setup. This was my first time ever racing around Mid Ohio. I just bought the track a good 2 or 3 days ago, so yeah, I really appreciate everyone, Logan, Caleb, Will, Luke, for the support and helping me learn this track. But yeah, it's definitely a track that I look forward to racing in the future. So yeah, big shout out to those guys.
Absolutely, JT. Well, thank you so much for dropping in. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you next week at Iowa.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Absolutely. That's JT Smeaton. He is your third place runner today. Kevin Burrell is not in the waiting room. Sometimes he comes to sometimes he comes, sometimes he doesn't, Jacob. Owing to the time difference, he is in Japan after all, and so we've got to be mindful that it is we've got people from all over the world. Alan Berteau in France is one, but Kevin Burrell is in Japan, and so we need to be mindful of his time. He's probably I can't ever remember if this is really early or really late for him, or kind of a combination of both. But Kevin Burrell.
We could probably ask Anna here.
We probably could. But that's Kevin Burrell. He's going to finish second today. For your winner, we do have Anna Klimek. Anna, you've got Murph, and you've got Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I've got a copy, Mark.
Well, I'll tell you what, dominant performance for you tonight. Start on the pole, lead pretty much every lap that wasn't in a pit cycle, and drive away from Kevin Burrell and JT Smeaton, two of the very best in the business. Talk about your night and what it took to do that, and the role that you're on, just generally speaking.
Yeah, this week I've put in a lot of practice. Like, I'm probably counting up to 20 hours, which is usually I do 10 hours for these opens, but this week I did double the amount of what I wanted to do, and yeah, pretty much just practice everything, and it really paid off today. And was really hungry for this one. I was really, really damn hungry for this one. So just to see because I'm very hardworking, and to see all that hard work I've done has showed off with a very solid P1 and beating Kevin and JT, who are some of the fastest peeps on the services. I'm just really, really happy. And yeah. Yeah, and then just pretty much, I think today as well, just qualifying. Wasn't until this morning where I made a final little change, made a little experiment with my qualifying setup, and basically found like a good chunk of time, and I thought, okay, yeah, the setup, yeah, I've got the setup now. And then I will say it was a bit sketchy in qualifying. It was pretty challenging. I feel like there was an extra 2 to 3 tenths in that lap, but if it's on pole, it's on pole. So yeah, and then pretty much I've set up the car pretty much. Basically, I made my setup to around the primes this week, which is funny enough. So basically, once we started on primes, and yeah, once I made that little jump at the beginning with JT and Kevin fighting, I was like, okay, yeah, this is perfect, and then just pretty much managed it. And then just pretty much responded to Kevin pitting with the Reds pretty much, and that allowed JT and Kevin to fight again, and then pretty much just tried to manage the tires till the end, because the Reds were pretty they were at 50% wear towards the end of that stint, so they were pretty dead. So yeah, I just managed that whole race very well. So yeah, very happy with the result I have achieved today.
Jacob?
Yeah, you talked about putting in an extra bout of practice and obviously that showed off in full force with the dominant performance here once again tonight. And kind of walk us through what the extra preparation goes into. Obviously, there's a good bit of setup work that goes into each and every week here on the open side of things, but I think a lot of it also has to do with just stint longevity, getting a feel for how the car kind of evolves and adapts, and even the track to some extent kind of changes over time. Kind of walk us through what you're looking for over the course of that extensive practice before you get into one of these.
Yeah, so I think firstly, basically, it was just a bunch of like trying to convert. Basically, at the moment, we're just converting old setups into the hybrid because the hybrid has made this car very different. Pretty much with the reds here, because with the hybrid with the weight at the rear, there's just a lot of the car rotates a lot more at those slower speed corners, so there's a lot more scrubbing, and pretty much my rear tires were pretty dead. So pretty much it was like trying to convert. Basically, we're at the moment just converting old setups to new and just working around it. And then pretty much a lot of the focus is on primes. And then once I'm happy, move on to alts. And then basically the last thing I do is qualifying. I mean, the race pace is the most important thing. And then once I've got that sorted, it's just race pace time. So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the race pace was definitely there. The qualifying pace usually, if you get the race right, the qualifying usually comes along on its own too. So
Yeah.
great race today, Anna. Congratulations on yet another dominant win. You know the drill by now. Friends, family, sponsor, shoutouts. The floor is yours.
Yes, so thank you to everyone at Taylor Mills Racing and also Votive Racing as well. I know that Indy was racing today in split, but also Casey and Shane were racing in second split today, so we're converting some of the over guys to the road. So that's the thing about our alliance, pretty much. Votive helps out with ovals, and TMR we help out with roadsides. So there's a really good relationship there. We're trying to work each other together. Shout out to all friends within the iRacing, INDYCAR iRacing community. Shout out to all VTuber friends as well. Mum, Dad, brother Jacob, boyfriend Trent, Shane Coker, and the Votive League as well. And finally, shout out to P1 Broadcasting for broadcasting these SOF races every week.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to you for continuing to show up and be the car to beat. Keep going fast and having fun, Anna.
Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely. That's Anna Klimek. She is your winner tonight. And we do have a Kevin Burrell sighting. Kevin, you've got Murph, you've got Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. We didn't think you were going to show up. We thought you went to bed.
Yeah, sorry. I actually, first of all, I'm so tired. I forgot to even come into the waiting for interview, and then I clicked on the broadcast channel by mistake and just bombed you. So, my apologies.
You're totally,
but,
you're totally fine.
What a race, man!
It was. So you got to set us straight.
What a race!
You got to set us straight. For Alan in France, it's really late. Is it really early or really late for you in Japan?
It's very late.
Very late. So what are we talking about?
For a normal person here, it would be very early. For me, I ran that Spanish SOF race that's at 5 a.m. for me, which is what I would consider really late for me. That was 4 hours ago. So it is now 10 a.m. and I'm going to bed.
Oh boy, there you go.
Yeah. Now our schedule's all messed up, because I work with mostly like American customers for our company, and of course I'm here in Japan. It's like we're talking to them at like 3 a.m. all the time. So it's just I'm used to it now. But yeah, I did not want to miss this race. Normally I wouldn't run both the SOF, the Borges-Azo race, and this in the same week, but I really didn't want to miss Mid-Ohio. And I don't know, man. I mean, I felt like we had a good car. I felt like we actually had a really good pace. And it just, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw it and talked about it. I used up my one chance to make a move on JT, and with a tire disadvantage and really no insane pace, it was very hard to do anything after that.
Yeah, there were times where you would chop a tenth or two out of Anna, but it always seemed like she would respond and get it back. The undercut on JT worked right, and got you in a second. But you cut a lot of it
Yeah.
out. I think you made up a full second on her, but just not enough quick enough. And so it was fun to watch for sure. Jacob, what do you have for the general Kevin Burrell this evening?
Yeah, we kind of saw the bulk of the passing being done in the pit lane here, and everybody kind of either got an overcut or an undercut to work one way or the other. Kind of walk us through what it's like having to make that decision, and when at what point in the race do you kind of commit one way or the other? Or is it kind of one of those things
Yeah.
that you get to where you get to, and that's the time you make your stop?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, in this case, Sadiq just decided on, I guess it was lap 19 for him. He was like, screw it, I'm going in. And, I thought that was pretty ballsy. I thought that like the crossover point for the stint was like probably 16, 17 laps. So, pitting on 19 was like quite a bit. And then when I saw I was just getting closer and closer to JT, and like I was gaining on him a little, he was gaining on Anna. It was just so screwed. I was like, I have got to try and do an undercut, and I know he's just going to respond the next lap, but that's going to be his warm-up lap, then his lap 1 on my lap 2, which should be the fast lap of the run. When I got behind him at the coming into China Beach, I was just like, this is the only chance in the race. I absolutely have to do it right now, or else I'm just going to be sitting in P3 all race. And luckily, barely, the tire difference was enough to make it work. And then, of course, I had to sit at a tire loss to them for the rest of the race. And I mostly made the set this week to just not burn up the rears. And I think it worked, actually. I feel like we maybe had like the fastest car. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it definitely held on better than anyone else. And, that just, unfortunately, if you're starting in P3, I blew my qual, and I had to do something crazy to get one pass. And that was not going to happen again, unfortunately.
Well, second's nothing to sneeze at, Kevin. It's
No,
it's
I'm
better,
very happy with it.
yeah, it's better to be on the podium than be off it or backward in a fence somewhere, or like unlike
And
me.
that almost happened. So
Yeah, see, you did better than me though. I'd have been upside down in the gravel. So you did better than that.
yeah,
We definitely appreciate your efforts. It was fun to watch. Friends, family, sponsor shout outs. The microphone goes to you.
yeah,
sir.
yeah. This track is like just riding on a magic carpet. It's insane. Yeah, obviously shout outs to the Fiercely Forward guys. Actually, this week, a little unusual for us on the road. I worked hard off of a set by Sadiq, and what he put together was way better than mine. So tweaked it a bit and went from there. It was great. Shout outs to Christian, everybody, Alan, everyone put some work in, and car was good, of course. My parents probably watching. And yeah, all stream viewers, you guys, of course, as always, the broadcasts are great, and the series would be a lot different without it. I'm really glad we have them, and I'm looking forward to it for IAS this year too.
We're really happy to have you here. Sadiq's in the chat, by the way, commenting on your real salaryman hours. So you'll have to correct him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's just I'm on crazy hours. I'm on psychotic hours. It's like I'm working American hours in Japan. It's not good. It's not good. But it is fun. It's funny. And hey, I'm living a crazy life, I guess. So and I get to do this with you guys. So in the end, it all works out.
There you go, man. We're happy to have you. Keep going fast, having fun, Kevin. Will we see you? The big question is,
Thanks.
you're a road course guy. We're going to see you on the oval at Iowa.
It's true. It's true. I have had some really good races at Iowa in the past. We've got a baseline where we're tweaking on it, and I think if the car feels good enough by the race, I will be there. So yeah, we'll see if I could do anything. I kind of like New Iowa, actually. As stressful as it is, and as weird as the car is now with the updated aero kit and everything, it'll be fun. I think it'll be good to see how Iowa races at Open now. So yeah, I'd like to be there. It's also a IAS track, so I need to get laps in. I mean, there's no way around it.
Whatever you do, don't turn your entire team into a GIF. Whatever you do, that's the rule.
Yeah, no, we've heard of that. We will not be doing that.
Very good. Very good, Kevin. We'll keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we'll see you. We'll see you at the next one. You hear?
Thanks. See you around.
Yes, sir. That is Kevin Burrell, the general. He comes home in the second spot. Jacob, it's always good to talk to Kevin. I'm glad he stopped in. There wasn't, for what this race lacked in on-track passing, it certainly made up for it in terms of thoughtfulness and strategy, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's not too surprising here when you kind of consider the history the track's had. We talked a good bit at the opening portion of the race. Scott Dixon's kind of notorious for finding a way to win at Iowa, or it's not Iowa, Mid-Ohio here, and that's usually
he can find a way to win at Iowa too. By the way, that's not a faux pas. I think Dixon's won at Iowa a bunch too.
One way or another, he's found a way to win here, and that comes on the strategy front. So it's not all too surprising to see that kind of be where the big payoff was here tonight. And it's certainly something different, something special when we get to a race that breaks down in strategy, where you can see, one lap on the pit stops makes all the difference, as we saw with Kevin passing JT, and that's fun.
It most certainly does. For everybody who is still in the audience, and we've got a massive one, thank you so much to everybody who came out to watch these competitors. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all of our high-quality iRacing content. And that's going to continue at 9 o'clock with the Indy Next Road Series Top Split live from Imola. It'll be Jacob Collins and Sophia Connell on the call. Tomorrow night, we've got a triple header. It's the INDYCAR Oval Series kicking it off from Fontana. And if that's not a 5,000 SOF, Jacob, I will eat my hat. That's going to be a great race. 7:15 Eastern Standard. Gary Godso and crew are going to be with that one. You'll be back at 8:30 for the Indy Next Oval Series Top Split from New Hampshire. And then the nightcap, 9:30, Andrew Wood and I. We're going to have IndyCars on super speedways for a second time. It's the Area 51 IndyCar Series from Michigan at 9:30. Wednesday, it's a doubleheader, the Horizon IndyCar Series from Portland at 8, and the Formula Super Series from Miami. That's the Formula Indy Series. They're going to run the Super Formula cars on mostly American tracks, I believe. Miami GP will be their inaugural race at 8:20, and that is it for P1 this week. Keep your eyes peeled because we'll be back with the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series and the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series Thursday and Friday nights. The iRacing IndyCar Series will be back on Saturdays once the Real Life IndyCar Series starts. And Sundays you can catch the Classic IndyCar Series and the Votive IndyCar Series and the Dark Horse CW12 Series, all right here on P1. Again, thank you so much to the fans in the stands for making this possible. We had a great audience tonight, Jacob. Thank you so much. Also do want to thank the drivers for making the show. And we also really want to thank the people that actually make this possible. The military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, Jacob. And last but not least, the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all so very much. Stick around. Imola is up next.